Human trafficking is a serious issue that revolves around the trade of human beings for the purpose of sexual slavery and forced labor. South America is one of the biggest destinations and sources in the world that has struggled with these issues for many years. The International Labor Organization estimates that in 2012, out of the 29 million victims of human trafficking in that year, 1.8 million of those people were from Latin America. There are many different factors that cause human trafficking. Some examples can involve high demand for domestic service, sex laborers, and factory workers. After speaking with an individual from Latin America, I asked them a series of questions about human trafficking and what their take on it was. I also went around the school and asked a whole bunch of students a series of questions of human trafficking and what they thought of it and if they thought it was a serious issue. Now, keep in mind, the next video you are about to see contains a lot of stuttering and a wide range of the use so be prepared for that video. It is an interview with my mother. After consulting with another immigrant from Latin America, we asked her a series of questions about human trafficking and what was her take on it. The first question I asked her was, how was life like in Latin America? And she responded with happy, fun, a lot of good food, lots of family, and overall great. Second question I asked her was, how was it like immigrating from Latin America? She said it was scary, but lots of good expectations. The third question I asked, for what purpose did you come to America? And she said because she wanted to go to school and she wanted to learn English. The fourth question, I asked her about her take on human trafficking and its effects, and she said that it was unjust and wrong, and that she does not agree with any of it and believes that it is not, and that is a serious issue. The fifth question I asked her is if her family struggled with the immigration process, and she said that it was decently hard. It was fairly hard. However, her dad went back to Colombia after a few years, and she met her husband and got married and stayed with him there. The sixth question I asked her is, how does she feel about going to America? And she said back then that she was a little afraid, and however, after she did it and she stayed for the first day, it was hard because she didn't know any English and everybody there spoke English. But as she got a hang of it, she started to enjoy it a lot more. The last question I asked her was, would you consider doing any service act for this issue? She responded with education in rural areas, equal opportunities for school / economic opportunities, and more advertisement for this issue. This is her signature, just for proof that she. Now, these next interviews are from students from Meridian Road School. Now, keep in mind, these students did not really understand what they were talking about and knew absolutely nothing about the questions that I asked them. But that is okay, because that shows what we have to advocate for this issue. What do you know about human trafficking?
I know basically nothing. All I know that it's it's like the trade of humans as property.
How does human trafficking affect your people or your life?
It's never really affected me or my people or like anyone close to me or my relatives. It's never really affected my life. It's never really happened to me. I'm blinded. I don't know anything.
How big of an issue do you think human trafficking is in Austin?
In Austin, I almost never see it around, so I think something like 1,000 people a year, pretty low.
What do you know about human trafficking in Latin America?
I know nothing, literally nothing. I don't even know anything about Latin America. But human trafficking, I never see it on the news. So I think it's a very small problem because it's never on the news.
What comes to mind when I say human trafficking in Latin America?
Well, what comes to mind is probably just like well, the first thing I think of is human trafficking in a third world country, which but I don't really see many big problems on the news about it, and so basically nothing comes to mind.
All right.
What do you know about human trafficking?
Isn't that like where people are kidnapped and like sold on markets, for like profit, and they're sold for like a multitude of reasons, and like different ages and stuff like that, right?
How does human trafficking affect you and your people
It
in life?
doesn't. I've never been affected by human trafficking in my life.
How big of an issue do you think human trafficking is in Austin?
It's probably not that big of a deal. It's probably some part, but I highly doubt.
What do you know about human trafficking in Latin America?
I can assume that it's a kind of a big deal because South America is kind of a bad place to be. Let's just be real here. So I'm sure human trafficking is a pretty big issue.
What comes to mind when I say human trafficking in Latin America?
Venezuela.
What do you know about human trafficking in Latin America?